Once upon a time, in a bustling village nestled between tall mountains and dense forest, there was a legend that captivated everyone's imagination. The story was about a hidden treasure buried deep in the mountains, and it was said that only a single map led to this long-lost treasure. This map had been handed down through generations, but many said it had been hidden so well that no one in the village knew where it was anymore. The treasure was no ordinary wealth. Legends claim that whoever found it would gain not only riches but wisdom beyond measure. It was said that the ancestors of the village left this treasure for a noble-hearted person who could handle its power. This treasure, people said, would bring prosperity to whoever used it wisely and honestly. But for generations, the treasure had remained hidden, and the map was lost, kept safe by an unknown keeper. Among the villagers was a boy named Ibrahim, known for his curiosity and daring nature. Ibrahim was kind-hearted and loved by many in the village. He often helped the elderly, carried water for his neighbors, and enjoyed listening to the stories of the elders. But, like most young ones, he had a spark of mischief and loved adventures. And he was especially curious about the tale of the hidden treasure. One day, while helping his elderly neighbor, Ibrahim overheard two elders talking. They spoke in low voices, discussing the mysterious map. "I heard that the map has been hidden away by someone in the village, someone who is trusted and wise," one elder said. "But who could it be?" asked the other elder. "Only someone with a pure heart can keep the map safely hidden." Ibrahim's heart pounded with excitement. Could it be possible that the map was right there, in the village, waiting to be found? From that moment, he couldn't stop thinking about the treasure. He wondered who might be the map's keeper and how he might earn their trust. Ibrahim knew that if he wanted to find the map, he had to be patient and smart. Days turned into weeks, and Ibrahim couldn't stop searching for clues. He was kind to everyone, helped those in need, and made sure to learn from the elders whenever they spoke about the village's history and values. Through his actions, Ibrahim built a reputation as a helpful, respectful boy, and soon enough, people began to trust him. One day, while he was helping a wise old woman named Amora with her daily chores, she noticed his excitement for adventure and asked, "Young Ibrahim, I see a spark in your eyes. What is it that fills you with such energy?" Ibrahim hesitated at first, but he trusted Amora and told her about his wish to find the map and bring prosperity to the village. He explained how he wanted to find the treasure not for himself but to help the village grow and flourish. Amora smiled, understanding his pure intentions. She said, "The treasure you seek is not just gold or silver, my boy. It carries a burden, a responsibility to the people. If you truly wish to find the map, you must show your worth and be patient. Trust is something you must earn, Ibrahim. People will only trust you with secrets if you prove yourself wise, brave, and honest." Ibrahim nodded, determined to live up to the challenge. From that day forward, he was more committed to the village than ever. He helped others, avoided any temptation to boast, and always listened to the elders' advice. One evening, Ibrahim was returning from the river when he noticed a mysterious figure lurking near Amora's house. The figure moved stealthily, as if trying not to be seen. Ibrahim's curiosity got the better of him, and he quietly followed the stranger, keeping a safe distance. The figure disappeared into the shadows, but Ibrahim noticed that they had left something behind, a small leather pouch tied with a red thread. He picked up the pouch and found an old, folded piece of cloth inside. To his amazement, he realized that this piece of cloth was no ordinary scrap, it looked like part of a map. However, it was only a small fragment and didn't show much detail. His mind raced with excitement, but he remembered Amora's words about patience and trust. He knew he couldn't keep this to himself or rush to conclusions. The next day, Ibrahim returned the pouch to Amora, explaining what he had seen and what he had found. Amora was pleased with his honesty and sense of duty. She took the pouch and told Ibrahim that he had shown great maturity and that his actions were a step closer to earning the village's trust. News of Ibrahim's integrity spread, and soon, even the elders began to respect him more. They saw in him a young man who cared deeply for the village and its people, someone who would make a good leader one day. A few months later, a young stranger arrived in the village. His name was Zamani, and he claimed to be a traveler from a distant land. Zamani was tall, with a confident smile and a mysterious air about him. He was charming and quickly made friends among the villagers. However, something about him made Ibrahim cautious. Zamani was curious about the village's legends, especially the one about the hidden treasure. He would ask the villagers about the treasure and the map, and he showed great interest in anyone who mentioned the story. Though he was friendly, he seemed a little too interested in the legend for Ibrahim's comfort. One evening, Ibrahim overheard Zamani speaking to a group of villagers. "If anyone knows anything about the map, you should tell me. I am skilled in finding lost things and hidden treasures. With my help, we could bring prosperity to this village in no time," Zamani said, his voice smooth and convincing. Ibrahim felt a sense of unease. He knew that trust was not something that could be bought or forced. Zamani's words sounded tempting, but there was something in his tone that didn't sit right. He decided to keep a close watch on Zamani. In the days that followed, Zamani continued to charm the villagers, and some of them began to trust him, even sharing bits of the village's history with him. Zamani soon learned that Ibrahim was respected and that he had once found a piece of a map. Curious and perhaps envious of the young boy's trust among the villagers, Zamani approached Ibrahim. "Young friend," Zamani said with a smile, "I've heard much about you and your honesty. Perhaps we could work together to find this map. Think of the good we could do with the treasure." Ibrahim looked at Zamani carefully. Though the man's words sounded kind, there was a glint of greed in his eyes. "I am honored, Zamani," Ibrahim replied politely. "But if the map is meant to be found, it will reveal itself in due time. This treasure is a gift from our ancestors, meant for those who prove themselves worthy. It cannot be forced." Zamani was taken aback by Ibrahim's wisdom, but he didn't give up. He continued trying to gain the boy's trust, but Ibrahim remained cautious. He knew that true trust could not be won with flattery or charm. One night, Ibrahim awoke to a soft knocking on his window. He opened it and was surprised to see Amora standing outside. She looked serious and held a candle in her hand. "Come with me, Ibrahim," she whispered. "It is time for you to know the truth." Curious but trusting Amora, Ibrahim followed her to a small hut near the edge of the village. Inside, he saw a large chest covered in dust. Amora opened the chest, revealing an old, complete map of the mountains surrounding the village. Ibrahim's eyes widened as he realized what he was looking at. This was the very map he had been searching for. "Ibrahim," Amora said softly, "the time has come for the map to be revealed. I have watched you grow, and you have proven yourself to be wise and trustworthy. But remember, the treasure is not only about wealth. It is a test of character. You must use it for the good of the village." Ibrahim nodded, humbled by the responsibility he had been given. He knew that his journey was far from over, but he was determined to prove himself worthy of the treasure. As he left the hut with the map in hand, Ibrahim saw Zamani watching from the shadows. Zamani had seen everything and now knew that the treasure was within reach. "Hand over the map, boy," Zamani demanded, stepping out of the shadows. "I deserve it as much as you do. I could make this village prosper in ways you couldn't imagine." Ibrahim held the map tightly and said, "The treasure is not for those who seek it out of greed. Our ancestors left it for those who prove themselves worthy, those who act with honesty and kindness." Zamani scoffed, but before he could take another step, a loud voice echoed through the night. It was Baba Ali, one of the village's oldest and wisest elders. He had seen everything and knew that Zamani's intentions were not pure. "Leave this village, Zamani," Baba Ali said sternly. "You have come here seeking only wealth, and such a heart cannot unlock the treasure our ancestors left for us." Realizing that his plan had failed, Zamani left the village in shame. Ibrahim, meanwhile, felt a renewed sense of pride and responsibility. He had earned the trust of his people, and he was determined to use the treasure for the good of the village. With the map as his guide, Ibrahim ventured into the mountains with Baba Ali and Amora by his side. They followed the map's directions until they reached a hidden valley filled with golden light. There, they found the treasure chest, gleaming with ancient wealth and wisdom. Instead of keeping it for himself, Ibrahim used the treasure to help the village, building schools, repairing homes, and ensuring that every family had enough to live comfortably. His actions brought prosperity and happiness to the village, and he became a symbol of trust and integrity. And so, the village flourished, all because of a young boy who understood that trust is earned, not given. The legend of Ibrahim and the lost map was told for generations, a reminder that true wealth lies in a kind heart and an honest soul.